There's a whole lot of rhythm going on. We got the funk. Oh yeah. Gotta have that funk. Yeah, we love the funk. Gotta have that funk. Yeah. And remember, if you ain't gonna get it on, just get your dead arse home. So, I wanted to do a quick, short, and dirty update.
What are we updating today?
Well, I thought we would maybe really quickly talk about why isn't surrealism popular anymore?
Because people like their reality real.
So I think if you look at contemporary art, there's a lot of people that play with like juxtaposition and, combining unusual imagery. I just don't think it's revolutionary anymore.
Well, I also don't think it has that unification that Surrealism did. Surrealism had a measurable point behind it. It had a measurable theory behind it. And I think the modern art now is more individualism, and every artist for themselves, and they don't really find a unified, I was going to say trope, but that's not the right word, but a unified theory to go behind, like surrealism.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the core of a dash-ism, is
Right.
that it's this school of people that are working together under a united cause. And yeah, there's not as much as that. There's been some critics in the last, 5-10 years that have written about why aren't there manifestos anymore? And a manifesto seems to be the, core set of tenets that creates this group of people that are working towards, a unified goal. And there certainly are artist groups and collectives and stuff that'll, work together for shows, like your young British artists that produce Damien Hirst. But you don't get the ism guys like Dadaism or Surrealism or Fauvism.
Well, and it goes back to that emphasis on the individual, which has started, I guess, once you got your revolution in the 60s, your cultural revolution, and then the 70s, peace, love, and groovy tunes. The 80s were about hair and how high you could get it, but none of that provided a unified front for everybody the system, for everybody to unify under one school.
Ta-da! Magic! I think you also kind of hit on another thing that happens that kind of knocks surrealism down a little bit, and that is the 60s and 70s groovy love fest. I've had people point blank be like, well, I know Dali did acid, and it's no, acid wasn't invented yet. Maybe later in his life, maybe he did a mescaline / peyote when he was a young person. I don't know, I can't verify this, but it certainly wasn't about drugs. It was about your subconscious and dreams, and a lot of that imagery is very dated. And so when the weird trip imagery that came out in the 60s starts happening, it kind of becomes more folksy, and I feel lessens it.
It tries to, and then it tried to kind of appropriate Dali because of the surreal nature of his work.
Yeah, that's Far Out Wild Man.
But it wasn't actually embracing what Dali was trying to do.
I think that that's arguable. There are people doing things now that are similar to surrealism, but it doesn't have the goals and aims, so it isn't surrealism. Also, if I'm a contemporary person making work about my life and dreams and experiences and my subconscious and who I am deep inside under my ego, it's going to have a modern contemporary sensibility. It's not going to look like Dali's life, because Dali's 100 years older than me.
There is that factor, but also exploring your subconscious and the meaning behind who you are and what you do just isn't fashionable anymore.
I will say, when it comes to artistic statements, and it's usually a very young and experienced artist, starts spewing that back out at me, I kind of roll my eyes, because if you ask most first-year art majors who their favorite painters are, they're going to tell you Vincent van Gogh or Salvador Dali, and it's man, you just haven't experienced the world yet. That's great. I enjoy looking at his stuff, but
I appreciate his work, but I don't think you understand the context, sir.
Or you just haven't been exposed to enough to know that he wasn't even, in my opinion, one of the better surrealists. I mean, he certainly had a lot of skill, he was certainly prolific, he certainly stuck with it after everybody else had given up, but yeah. Alright, so that was an Art I Swear short and dirty update. Thank you guys so much!